Hello there, Starscream back for a Transformer review. Now, we just get a few things, set aside first before I carry on. Number one, I'm going to continue doing the Transformer original movie review. Hope everybody likes it. Hope it's not too boring for you. It's quite difficult to put together, believe it or not. And I know a lot of you are saying, no, we don't believe it actually because you're doing it. Well, I'm telling you it is. So bear with me. It will be done and it will be finished. I've got a project though that I may be working on this weekend, so it may be put on hold for a little bit. So if you're waiting for it to be finished by next weekend, I'm afraid it most likely won't be. So, I am going to do a Transform review today because I haven't done one for ages and I kind of felt like doing it. If that's alright with you. Is it alright? Is it? Answers on a postcard. By the time I get said postcard, I'll have done it anyway, and the postcard won't matter, so I'll save you a stamp and my mispronunciations of the word postcard, and we'll carry on. Okay, somebody asked me about skids. Let me rephrase that one.
To get you out of here, it's dangerous.
Yes, after that hilarious round of applause has ceased, let's carry on with a Transformer ill-named Skids. Now, he can't help the name. He probably goes down in history as probably one of the worst named Transformers. Trying to think of a few that rival him. Well, there's two that spring to mind. Okay, Slag and Erector. They aren't good names, and there's probably countless Transformers that you could go to. I mean, RC's not a great name, and neither is Cup. And they could have a few connotations, I suppose, yeah? Yeah, you can actually with them, but Skids really isn't. He's scraping the bottom of the pile, And, I've got a few puns that I was about to do. I'll stop myself for you guys, alright? Just this once. I can't guarantee that I may not make a few in the process of this review. So, fingers crossed I don't. Alright, Generation 1, Skids. Now, he's actually in an episode. Yes, I know you thought he wasn't actually animated in a cartoon show, but yes, he was. And it was in season 2. Now, the episode name is, but I cover up my mouth here while I'm trying to remember it, but it's not working. It does not help because my memory apparently is not in my mouth, it's in my head. So there, I'm at a loss already, so bear with me one moment. I want to get this right. Actually, the funny thing is, just when I went to look, I did actually remember. And I think it's no, I don't think it is, I know it is. It's Triple Takeover. And it's one where the Triple Changers, I think along with Starscream, start trying to, usurp Megatron's command over them. And they trick Starscream as well, so it ends up being them, and it's a free-for-all. And I can't remember if it's Astro Train. No, it's not Astro Train. I think it's Blitzwing. Makes him create, makes the Constructicons create a throne for him. And Skids and some of the later Transformers are introduced, are assigned to go and get it. And they all, they get the crap kicked out of them. Now, I think I'm 100% right on this one. As I said, don't post it if I'm wrong. Send me a postcard, okay? And everyone's a winner. So, yeah, Skids is only in that, but in the Marvel Comics, he's really well developed. Now, let's get back to Skids' face before we continue with the Marvel Comics. There's two variations, and they're both used in the comics. As you can see here, he has a face with a mouth and eyes. Now, it's also implemented in the actual comic, and the animators, whoever animated him at the time, with a faceplate, a bit like Optimus Prime. So, take your pick. Both of them are right and both of them are wrong, because the one that was produced for Hasbro later on had the face, and the one that was previously, I think was the Diaclone variant, had the mouth plate on it. Or was it vice versa? But I think it's the way that I just said, so I think I'm right. And the Diaclone come with a little camper bicycle that sits on there, and I think if I recall a Diaclone counterpart. I do not have that one. This happens to be a reissue because I couldn't get hold of it for love nor money. Well, probably for money, but not for love, so hey, take your pick. So yeah, unfortunately, I've got the reissue, but I'm not complaining because this is the Hobbies Japanese one, so it's made of metal, it's good quality, got the stickers that stay on. Yeah, they stay on, these ones, they don't just fall off. You get them off the shelf later on, you put them in, the stickers are falling off! Really frustrating, but this one's fine, so you're okay. So, yeah, there's a couple of variations of the toy and the face. Now, back to the comic. Now, he's introduced as one of the Transformers who didn't mind his spark being removed from his body till the Autobots might need him at a later date. A bit like Beast Wars, where they're in stasis pods floating around the spark is, and they crash to Earth, and, they assemble a body, because it scans around and it sees what's indigenous, and it computes the system of you know, the native forms that are around, say go back to a time where there was only dinosaurs, so you know, just copy the dinosaur, or go back to the time there's only morons on the earth, so nowadays it'd just copy one of us, wouldn't it? So alt mode would be an arsehole, so that would not be good. But luckily his alt mode is I think it's some sort of camper van. You know what? I'd actually rather be an arsehole than a camper van. And I am! So that's alright. So that's his alt mode. Not great. But yes, in the comics, he's the secondary wave that comes. So that's their way of explaining the second line of toys, you know, along with Grapple, Smokescreen. Those toys that come along later on, he's one of them. And that's a way of explaining it in the comics and in the cartoon show. Screw you! They're just there. So tough. So that's where he comes from. Okay, so let's just concentrate on the UK run of the comics. It makes more sense that way because his character's better developed. Now, I looked on Wikipedia and it says that he's a scientist. Well, and he likes to daydream. Well, yes, that's kind of apt because in the comic book run, he likes to daydream. He's always thinking ahead. He doesn't like war. He's looking for something else. He's not quite sure if he's going to find it. Now, he's caught in the middle of a battle, and as far as the Autobots are concerned, he's dead. They want to go back and get him, but Prime, if I recall, says no, don't bother, because he's got a name like Skids, and you know, we could do without Transformers called Skids, so, you know what, leave him! So, you know, they think he's dead, but he actually gets rescued by this girl. Now, if you want to know the name of the girl, I could just pop round, my PC's on the screen behind, I could just, you know, look it up for you, you know, just round there. But I'm not going to bother, so there, tough. So you have to look for it yourself. Do something yourselves. Right. So she befriends him, she fixes him, and he quite likes not, you know, declaring his disguise to her. So for a while he just pretends he's just a camper van. Eventually it transpires that she finds out he's got to fight a war. She's caught in an awkward position. He gets damaged again. The Autobots come back and he's dragged back to the Ark, and then he has continued serving with the Autobots. What a letdown! Yeah, and later on, he's with the Autobots again. They're on some sort of routine surveillance mission, or he's leading them somewhere. I can't recall the ins and outs, and he just goes into limbo. Okay, so he's just vanished. He's gone for ages from the UK comics. No explanation given, he's just gone.
Just one more person to ask. Little one.
I'm sorry, but I don't go to parties at Renegade's Auto Second times.